Welcome to Tradition and Sanity, a special post, celebrating 1 year of Tradition and Sanity, and a 4-question poll at the end. A good first year, Deo gratias. On April 13th, 2023, this Substack was launched with a leap of faith, very little technical know-how, and a loose plan that extended about a week at a time. Somehow, with help from heaven and support from many readers, we have reached the milestone of 1 year, and we're still here, with no intention of going away. Since April 13th, 2023, Tradition and Sanity has published 130 articles and nearly as many voiceovers. We're moving toward 1 million landings on the site, if I'm reading the stats correctly, which can never be guaranteed. I am a Luddite, doing my best to catch up with the 21st century. We added a monthly guest contributor, Julian Korzeniewski. In fact, we are currently ranking number 23 in all Substacks in the faith and spirituality category. Given that this category comprises everything that could plausibly or implausibly be connected with faith and spirituality, evangelicals, atheists, Jews, New Age psychics, ecomaniacs, and who knows what, from every corner of the inhabited world, that's quite respectable. As far as I can tell, there are only 3 Catholic Substacks ranking ahead of this one: The Pillar, Through a Glass Darkly, and Letters from a Catholic Feminist. Thank you, dear readers, for putting this Substack on the map. We've dealt here with a lot of things, not in a particular order: the Eucharistic revival, what will work and what won't, death and dying, the coronation of Charles III, the synodal process, divine drunkenness, integralism's need for integration, the incorrupt body of Sister Wilhelmina, the Society of St. Pius X, the obligations of churchmen toward the common good, papal infallibility and jurisdiction, hyperpapalism's likeness to Luther, the deep thoughts of a prisoner discovering tradition, liberal arts colleges, signs of the cross in the Roman canon, heaven and hell, icons and iconoclasm, angels, Fatima and private revelations, the immutability of God, Vatican II and cultural revolution, Teilhard de Chardin, the Sunday Mass obligation, obedience and autonomy, several great works of art, Bassano, Rembrandt, a 15th century German, dressing and modesty, Elizabeth Gilbert, the state of the TLM in Latin America, the Apostle Thomas, Thomas Aquinas, and Thomas Cranmer, not at the same time, the circumcision of Christ, Fiducia Supplicans, and last but not least, my cat Weezer and my love of espresso. And there was plenty more, but I didn't want this paragraph to get too lengthy. Nota bene. Newer readers, take some time to check out the archives. Lots there to explore. Thursday Mass. I've prayed for you nearly every Thursday of the past year. When I'm at the morning low Mass, I offer my share in the Holy Sacrifice for all the readers, subscribers, and benefactors of Tradition and Sanity, and for their families. I promised I'd do this, and I've done it with joy, and will continue to do it. I've also prayed for the special intentions that some of you have shared with me. From a supernatural point of view, we are in a spiritual battle, and we need God's grace every day. This Substack is not just about ideas. It is about realities that bear on our salvation and on the good estate of the entire Church. Prayer is not an afterthought. The nitty-gritty. I am writing 3 articles a week these days, apart from Julian's monthly piece, and this, needless to say, consumes a good deal of my work time. I take this Substack seriously and want to give you consistently thoughtful work from angles you won't often see, or maybe ever see, elsewhere. Each piece I publish is backed by research. The artwork takes a long time to pick out because I seek images that are beautiful, striking, and germane. And as my readers know, I read every comment and respond to most of them. Basically, Tradition and Sanity is half of my work week now. I've been very grateful for the support of my paid subscribers, now 575 in number, out of approximately 5,500 total subscribers. That is a little over 10%. That means roughly 1 out of 10 of you are paying to keep this Substack going. It has no other funding than you. There are no ads on this site. Isn't it a breath of fresh air not to have them? Reminds me of the days when cafes and restaurants were quiet enough to talk in. No diocesan chanceries, non-profit organizations, or think tanks are underwriting this project. In fact, they would probably try to torpedo it if they could. It's between me, the writer, and you, the readers. It remains sustainable for me if enough of you sign up for a monthly or annual payment. Not to strike a dour note, but the growth started at a fast pace and has subsequently slowed to an upward crawl. Can I count on more of you swelling the ranks of the 10%? Could we double that number? If you enjoy reading tradition and a sanity, if you benefit from it, if you appreciate the work you find here, please consider taking out a paid subscription. With 3 articles per week, or over 150 per year, that comes to circa 60 cents per article at the monthly rate, or 50 cents per article at the annual rate. Would you put a few quarters and dimes in my tip jar if I happened to be serving you a good, strong cup of tradition and sanity at a Catholic cafe? Or, to keep up this cafe metaphor, would you be willing to buy me a special latte once or twice a month if you had a chance? That, dear readers, is the price I've set for this Substack. It seems reasonable. After all, that's approximately what I'm paying for other people's Substacks. I believe in supporting good writing, so if you think my writing is any good, now is the time to take the plunge and show me that you're willing to back it. Not to mention that, in doing so, you will gain full access to all past articles, since the archives are available only to paying readers. And if there are a few of you out there who are willing and able to become patrons, that's $250 per year, know that I am especially grateful for your generosity. It was precisely the pledges from a core group of patrons a year ago that convinced me to stick with Substack. Thank you. I've enjoyed sending each of you an inscribed and signed copy of the once and future Roman Rite. Anyone who knows me well knows that I am absolutely uninterested in everything to do with numbers and money, except when cornered by the IRS and forced to disgorge, or when trying to figure out which repairs on the house can't be delayed any longer. You get the idea. Many of my students have readily applied to me the old absent-minded professor label. The point is, I hate asking for subscriptions, but once in a while I need to do so because, after all, I am trying to make a living as a writer. If you have already subscribed and wish to do something more, you could give gift subscriptions to friends or family or clergy whom you think would appreciate tradition and sanity. Of course, on my site you can find all of the buttons for doing this. Also on my site you will find a brief poll with 4 questions, and I do hope you will go over there. I'll let you know what they're about right now. First, as you know, I've been reading out loud my Monday and Thursday articles for quite some time now, and I'm happy to keep doing it if you are benefiting from it, but I want to make sure enough of you are taking advantage of it to make it worth my while. Bizarrely, Substack does not give its user any way to monitor how often the voiceovers are accessed, so there's literally no information for me to go on except what you tell me. Second, I worry that I'm posting too much, given all the demands on our time nowadays. So I'm also asking about that. Third, as a trained academic, a former professor, and a writer of books, I do tend to write rather lengthy pieces, at least as compared with the optimal 2,000 words recommended by some members of the Substack community. I do want to be sensitive to how my readers are engaging with or not engaging with the content, and if there is something I can do to make that relationship better, I'll do my best. So I'll ask you about that as well. Lastly, I wonder about the days of the week that I'm posting. Originally, I picked Thursday in honor of the Most Holy Eucharist. Then I started a weekly roundup on Saturday. Then I added Monday, which some commentators out there say is a bad day for posting, since it's a Monday. Finally, I changed the roundup to Friday, thinking it better than Saturday. But frankly, I don't know what's best for most readers, or even if there is a best. I'm shooting in the dark. So then I ask about that as well. Thanks for looking at the poll later when you have a chance. If you have any further thoughts or suggestions, please leave a comment. Once again, I'm glad to have you as part of the Tradition and Sanity Fellowship. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.